Well, there's been a surge in the number of people interested in growing their own vegetables in their bubbles. So today we're joined by horticulture tutor Kazel Cass to get some advice. Good morning to you, Kazel. Nice to see you. Where are you in your rural bubble?
Good morning, Carly. Thank you. Yes, I am in Lower Kaimai, which is rural and just up the hills from Tauranga.
Do you know what? I've fallen in love with my veggie garden again after a long, hot drought of a summer. This time I've really enjoyed getting back in the garden as something to do in the last 4 or 5 weeks. Remind us all why growing your own veggies is a great idea.
Oh, look, it's amazing. There's really nothing like the thrill of going into your garden and picking your own produce, something that you know right now in particular, you know, no one else has touched or been there. But also the flavor, I think if you haven't tasted your own broccoli, then you don't know what broccoli is supposed to taste like. It's sweet, it's crisp. I mean, half the time I don't even cook it. I just eat it straight because it's that good.
So how do we start? Is there some prep work we can do while we still have a bit more time at home in level 3?
Yeah, so think about winter as being a time to plant cool season crops, which are the leafy greens, anything that needs a fruit, and that includes tomatoes, corn, pumpkins, things like that. They really wait until the summer when it's a lot hotter. So you can get a lot of the leafy greens, the dark green stuff like silver beet in now. Other things you can put in now is garlic. Garlic is traditionally planted on the shortest day, but most garlic growers across New Zealand don't worry about that, and they just get the garlic in when they can. Any garlic that you buy from the supermarket that is New Zealand grown will be excellent for planting right now. And the other thing that you can really start thinking about doing is preparing the soil. So what we saw at the beginning of the lockdown was a run on garden centres, and they sold out of seedlings. And I really hope that those sales went to people that already had gardens prepared, because you want to spend that autumn time gathering leaves, spacing out an area, preparing the soil for spring planting, because that really is the best time for productivity.
Now, a lot of Kiwi backyards have fruit trees that usually get ignored. Could you give us a few tips on what we could be doing?
Yeah, this is a really good time to be looking at those fruit trees. Like if you've got apples right now, you might even still have fruit on them. So, you know, if you have fruit around, look at, is it ripe? Gather it in. Some fruit can stay on the tree for a really long time, and apples is one of those, depending on the cultivar that you've got. But if you've got fruit trees, pruning is really important. I got a lot of questions in my online garden chat recently about pruning, and is it too soon? Is it too late? Well, the answer is for most trees, now's a great time. And also now's a great time because if you've got the secateurs in your hand, that's the time to be pruning. You don't need to worry too much about rules, except for maybe apples. You want to wait till the harvest is over and prune them in the depths of winter. The first thing to look at is taking away any suckers that are coming from the bottom. And then you want to look up the tree and take out any branches that are on the side branches that are going straight up. Those just go for the sky and take away too much energy. So just to start off with, just as a real basic, just think about having light and air flowing through the tree. So think about a bird maybe jumping from branch to branch and making sure that it can actually get that access. That would be a good first step. And anything else, you know, we do an online course on pruning. I've got a couple of them coming up. So there's information out there for the real like next step, but definitely get in there and have a look at what's a dead branch or certainly suckers coming from the base, and just take those off and clean it up a bit. You really can't go wrong with pruning. It's a lot like cutting your hair during lockdown. You might feel like you've made a disaster of it, but it's going to grow back. And in a way, it's better to have it done than to not try.
Thank you, Kazel. Some good tips there. And if you have any gardening questions, you can message Kazel via her website, plentypermaculture.co.nz.